If the music is a little bit too loud, let me know and I can turn that down. I'm still experimenting with having music playing on the stream. And I'm trying a service which is injecting these chats into the side. If I paid them, those chats would go away and I would still be able to play the music. I haven't decided if this is some way I want to go. I haven't actually been able to do... Oh, you know what? I forgot to set up my camera. Right, I need to do that too. Let's see, main cam. Ooh, that's not. Need to turn on the light. That mostly works. Hair's a little bit messed up, but that's what Corona has done to us, right? I think, and yeah, I've got weird shadows on that side, but that's what that light is for. All right, I think we're good and ready to get started. This little thing right here is the microphone in front of me. I don't have my stand, so I don't have like it out of the way, but that's fine. Okay, so sort of a introduction about what this is all about, what I'm going to be doing, and why I'm doing it. So last week was Ludum Dare. It was Ludum Dare 46. I made this sort of like game where you're protecting an egg from a bunch of birds that are coming in and killing it, and it didn't end up working out too well. Partly because of motivation due to my computer just blowing up whenever I'm trying to compile with Rust while streaming at the same time, and partly because I think I ran into troubles where I was trying to do a little bit too much advanced, something a little bit too advanced, or at least for my skills. So what I want to do, I think the music might be a little bit too loud. I'm going to turn it a tiny bit down. What I want to do is learn some more advanced game programming design patterns. And in fact, there is a book that I want to follow for this called GameDesignPatterns.com. And let's see how the stream is doing. No drop frames. I am dropping a little bit below 30 frames per second every once in a while, but hopefully it should be good. It's hanging around like 29, 30 right now. CPU's at 22%. All right, that's good. Let's see this one. So I've been recommended this book by a couple different people in the past. I've seen some other people have gone through it and recommend it quite a bit. So I want to go through this myself. And what's really awesome, they have a free version online. So you can just read the entire book online, no problem whatsoever. Of course, you can buy it and from print or just ebook version, but which I might do eventually. But I really am happy that there is like a free version that we can go through, because that means you can go through it as well. But to prepare for that, what I want to do is actually have a game in mind. So I figured an infinite runner is a good sort of base starting point. And if I need extra features for some like game pattern that is describing, then I can go ahead and add that in, because I'm sure we can like figure something out. I can add bullets that we need to shoot, lasers to avoid. We can add sounds, whatever we need. I'm going to do this in P5.js because I'm familiar with JavaScript. The examples I discovered are all in C++, so object-oriented. So I'm going to do this in object-oriented, and I can later on apply this to GGEZ and Rust, and then from there take whatever skills I've learned and then go learn a new go either like continue with GGEZ or learn have enough knowledge that hopefully we can learn a new game engine and like know which game engine we want to go with. So that being said, let's let's go ahead and get started. My first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create the infinite runner exactly as I would. Sort of like me not really knowing any actual game design besides just sort of making it up as I go along. That's what I'm going to do for this. And that's today's plan. And then in future streams, we're going to go through and start refactoring this game to use the game design patterns that we learned in the book. So, Infinite Runner, what I need, I'm really kind of thinking about the Chrome game. I don't even know if I have Chromium installed. Oh, I do have Chromium installed. I don't know if I can force the game to open up with internet still. Because normally there's this cool little dinosaur game that you get in Chrome or Chromium whenever you don't have internet. And I would love to show that off, but I don't think that... I mean, I could go find somebody else who's remade it, but it'd be cool to see the original one. I don't know if there's a way for me to go to offline mode. And of course, I can't turn off my my internet because then I would stop the stream. So I think I'm gonna have to skip actually showing that off. But this is something that you can get in Chrome, and if you have access to it, turn off your internet and load up a website in Chrome, and then play the game. That's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna use any special graphics. Everything will be super basic. I think the game design patterns are more for the actual coding of it, at least as far as I can tell. So to begin with, I need a floor. So something down here to let us see what we're doing. Jai Streams, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. Thank you. Awesome to have you here. All right, so let's go ahead. I played around a little bit with trying to do the import export with Firefox, and I don't think they have it set up quite yet, or at least I couldn't figure out how to do it immediately. Always love my Rust streams. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry that I can't do them right now because my computer is a potato and my old streaming computer is sitting over there not working very well. So we'll get back to them soon. All right, so I just want probably a rectangle down there at the bottom. So I would just draw this as a rect. All right, so my X, well, that's gonna be 0. My Y is gonna be maybe something like the height minus 5. The width is gonna be the entire width, and the height, we'll just make this 5. Don't remember what the rest of these, oh, these are corners, top left. These are for making it little curved edges, isn't it? So if I do U, well, that's not exactly what I guess I need to fill 0. And then, oh, I need to get rid of the border. I'm wondering if that's CSS, because I'm going 100%. So if we inspect whatever we have here. Okay, so this canvas, yeah, okay, so there is there's not a border on here. There is a 8 margin on the body. So let's fix that. So can I just inline, what is it? Style equals, I want margin 0. Well, that makes it go away, but now Well, actually, you know what? Okay, I see what was happening here. The margin actually isn't too bad. If I leave the margin in, then it's sort of like a border along the left-hand side. And that way I get a little bit of this this pausing on the left and a little bit on the right. And it's the perfect amount. Otherwise, I have to sort of do a little bit of calculation to get it exactly the full width because P5 wasn't expecting that. So if I have that, now I need a player object, which I'll probably just have as a rectangle. So I'm going to create a new file called player.js. Class player. So I am doing this object oriented. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done truly object oriented this. Do I even need a constructor for it? I know I need I need a width and a height. Can I just do this straight off of here? Like width. Oh no, it's gonna be in the constructor. So constructor this dot width equals I want you to be this is 5, so probably 5 is fine. This dot height, let's make you like 15, maybe 20 even. Okay, so that's going to give us the width and the height, and then we need a location. So this dot location. I wonder if I should like give it to the location and sort of pass that in. And I think I also want this to be a vector. So we need to see, how do I create vectors? Create vector. Create vector, and then I can just give it where I want to be. And so it'll be a 1, 2, or 3 dimensional vector. So I might want to just have a location come in here, equal to a location, and the location will be a vector. And let's see, I guess that's all I need just to get it onto the screen. Do I want like a special draw out of here? I might want to have sort of like a render. If I have like a render function, it's not like GGEZ where I have to like pass in the context and everything else. It's just everything is global because it's JavaScript and P5. So if I want to say that our little guy is a rect, and we want it to be at, okay, so the location of where it's going to start. So this dot location dot x, this dot location dot y. The width, so this dot width, this dot height, and then no rounded edges. And we probably need to fill this just to ensure that it really is filled. And okay, so we need to create the constructor, and then we can call the render function on the player. So back in, and then of course we can't forget to bring in script source, player.js. It's super basic web server that I'm running now, not like no Webpack things or anything else. All right, so we need to const player. Actually, probably let all these, and then I can initialize it once we have things going on. So player equals player new player. I almost did player.new. And we need to give it a location. So this is going to be a create vector, and then our location. So if I do something like just 500 by 500, just to get it somewhere. We have the floor, and so now I can do player dot render. Let's see. All right, so I got a player right there. It was a little bit weird how I got like a couple flashes when it started, but it's all stable now. Let's now put this, usually with these infinite runners, you have them on the left-hand side of the screens. They have, everybody has time to react to the obstacles that are coming up. So let's see if we can put it down here a bit. So that means our location, we know probably like 50 to the right. And then we know we want this height minus some arbitrary amount of how high this guy is. And I think we know that it's 20. And so that gives us our guy here. Now, of course, then we have our border that's another 5 above that. So that might be good to have like another 5. Okay, so now it's just barely on top of this. Okay, so that gives us our player. And I probably want to, do I want to, yeah, let's get some Git stuff going on here. So I don't lose everything. In case like of catastrophe. Git init. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't changed any of my like my project or anything else for the chat bot. I should probably do that. I'm a little bit worried about opening up Postman though, because I'm down to 15 frames per second on the computer. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if it's the music also. Let me try pausing this and seeing if that stabilizes my CPU. And if it does, then we know that that's a thing. All right, so we'll get init, and then I can commit and add these all in. At the end of the stream, I'll upload that, and then we'll get a URL for where all this code is. So we have a player. Okay, so we have our player. We now want to be able to, well, let's make the player be able to jump. I think that's a little bit, that might be the next thing to do. So if I have some kind of velocity, well, we'll need like gravity, and we'll need velocity, and then we'll need the ability to collision detect against the ground here. So if I hit the space bar, I want our character to jump up, sort of like just have a sudden burst of velocity straight up, and then gravity takes them back down again. So if I have player, we're going to create a jump. And then I want some kind of velocity. This is going to be a create vector. We're going to initialize it with just 0. So we're not moving in any sort of direction, at least when we create the player. Then when we jump, we want our velocity to, so we can set this dot velocity dot y We want to maybe set this to like negative, I don't know, let's just try negative 10. And then we want some kind of update, or maybe like a run or something. Maybe we'll do an update. And during update, every single frame, JJ Streams, you're gonna go eat lunch. You'll check back later. Awesome. Well, thank you for stopping by. Thank you again for the subscription, and yeah, have a great lunch. Let's see. Okay, so update. So we're gonna say this dot location plus equals to this dot velocity, and that's gonna update all that. So if I just run this, and then we need to figure out how to hit jump. And I think there's a way to get keyboard updates. What happened to my, oh, I somehow, okay, so I need to get, to check the keyboard. I don't know if that's, I think it's events. Key is pressed. Key pressed. Key is down. Okay, so there's a couple of these that I could go with. If I do key is down, if key is down, like I can do the space bar essentially. Then I want our character to jump up. So in our game here, under draw, so we have our player.render. Let's also do if key is down, I think space will work. Okay, the variable key code is used to detect special keys such as backspace, delete, enter, return, tab, escape, shift, control, option, alt, up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, right arrow. You can also check for custom keys by looking up the key code of any key. Oh, okay, so they don't have one. So if I want space, that's 32. So I should const space key, or maybe key code space. That's equal to 32. Key code space. All right, so if key is down, key code space, then I want the player to jump. Oh, is there already a jump? Is that a thing that exists? No, it does not. Okay, so I don't know where that what this autocomplete is from. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so if I run this, and then regardless, we need to player dot update, and that's going to update the player's location. So if we come back to here, we hit refresh, not print, nor save. All right, Firefox, you can do it. Computer is at around 20 frames per second. Oh no, my computer froze. Just for a second. So I have no idea how that affected you all. But my computer was completely frozen, not just OBS, but everything was frozen. All right, so if I hit space, oh, that doesn't do what I was expecting it to do. Let's make sure it refreshed. and also there's no error. P5.js rect was expecting a number for parameter 0. Wait, where does that error coming from? Where am I using rect without giving it a number? So this at location.x, this at location.y, that should be a number. The location is a create vector, so we're handing that in to the location, that's fine. And this height -5, so those all should be fine for that. If key is down, let's see if we can, we'll just do a console log space pressed. So that's happening every single frame. So there is something that's happening with my, I mean, it shouldn't be the player rectangle here because it's showing. Oh wait, am I not clearing the screen every single time? That might be a problem. I think there is a clear. Clears the pixels within a buffer. So if I do that, which one disappears? The player disappears. Okay, so render rect this location.x, this location.y. I guess that means these aren't what we think they are. Console.log. Let's do this location. And see what we got. At some point in time, I thought there was an error there. Okay, PS vector object. Wait, is it not X and Y that I can access it with? Is it just like 0, 1, 2? Maybe I'm not thinking of like the vector the same way that I'm used to thinking it with some other vectors. Okay, so math, create vector. All right, so parameters x, y, and z returns a p5 vector. So let's go take a look at that. Well, here, okay, so this can access the x and the y directly off of it. So v1. Okay, so v1 create vector, v2 create vector. Then I can get v1.x, v1.y. Okay, so that's what I want. This .location.x, this .location.y. And in game, we have a player equals new player, create vector, 50, and then height -25. I guess we need to check to see, is this really what I think that it is? If I don't do that, or this, let's just immediately, after we initialize, console log this .location.x and y. This also might be a reason why computer slowed down a lot, because it's trying to to log something to the frame to the console like 60 times per second. I am no longer trying to load a rect with this. So maybe it's the other rect too is having a problem. Okay, so 50 and 675. That is correct. And we're no longer getting that error. Okay, that's good to know. So this dot location dot x, this dot location dot y, those exist here. Is this not set up? So if I just move our console log down, do I have to do that stupid trick in the constructor to bind render? Oh, look at that. Okay. So 50 and 675, the first time we call render. The second time that render is called, it's undefined. Is that because these are in functions and so the scope is getting reset? The scope of this is getting reset. So maybe I need to do the silly binding where I can say, okay, this dot render equals. Is that how you do it? This dot render equals this dot render dot bind this. I'm not convinced off the top of the head that's right. No, okay, so that doesn't work. So I'm losing this. Specifically, I'm losing this dot location off of the user, off of the player object, the second time it comes through here. And I shouldn't be resetting that. Like player only gets set one time. Draw happens many, many times over and over again. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I const draw equals, like if I made this a fat arrow, would our problems go away? Oh, now it's undefined. So they're all undefined now. I don't want to bind anymore. Now none of that works. Cool, okay, so if you try to make that a fat arrow, it does not like that at all. All right, so back to a function. So I need a way to make sure that we keep the state of our location. The problem being that this seems to be, it's available the first time it runs through. The second time something has happened and this is no longer available to us, or it's no longer the same thing. Let's try console logging this. This is like the best part about web development in a very sarcastic way. All right, so we have this. Okay, so width, height 20. You're probably, yeah, you're going to keep on going. All right. Are you able to actually show me what's happening here? Or is it just going to crash because... Yeah, I think it's unfortunately just going to eventually crash because it doesn't... All right, so yeah, it's not even loading this object here. I wonder if I can do a breakpoint with this. So if I do if not this dot location dot x, if for some reason that doesn't exist, let's go ahead and do a breakpoint. Doesn't give me, is it breakpoint? Well, I'll get an error if it isn't breakpoint. It's like it's one of those. It's the keyword that like stops all code and lets me go into the debugger. I mean, so this is not. I mean, there's no errors, and I think the location is fine. Okay, so object, width, height, location, P5 vector object. Which is 50675.0. And I think that's just their console log, like their two string. So the location is showing that it exists and that it has stuff in it. Hey Chantilly, welcome to the stream. Okay, so you are working. You are working. Carlos Spy 81, hello. Welcome to the stream. How's both of your weekends going? Are you surviving COVID and forced stay at home pretty well? Okay, so the rect, we have the x, which is this location at x, this location at y, this width, and this height. I mean, that's what it should be. For streaming here, yeah, enjoy home. Yeah, we're all forced to enjoy home a lot more these days. But I've been pretty used to staying at home a lot beforehand, so I guess it's not too much of a big change for me. All right, so expecting number for parameter number 0, received an empty variable instead. Let's just try a breakpoint in here. It's been good. Went on a hike yesterday. Awesome. Hikes are fun. Especially like if you can get out into the mountains or someplace where there's like not too many people, so you don't feel like you're gonna like, you know, be yeah, so it's not breakpoint. What is it? Yeah, so you don't feel like you're constantly having to like dodge around everyone. That's the best. Let's see. Set breakpoint in code. I can't remember the exact command for it. I used to use it all the time. So let's see. I want mdn breakpoint debugger. Is it just debugger? Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Debugger. paused on debugger statement. So if we come here and we find our player here, we can now watch the expression this dot location dot x this dot location dot y. All right, so we can see this dot location dot x is 50 and y is 675. Carlos B, you just arrived, so you asked the infinite runner doesn't involve or deal with task runners. No. I'm not making anything like that. It's a game. So have you ever seen the Chrome game that you can get when you don't have any internet whatsoever, and you open up Chrome and like there's a little dinosaur that you can jump over things, see how many you can get. That's what I'm sort of like making something like that. Okay, so if I do that, now let's go ahead and move forward. So play again until it hits the next time, and now it's undefined. So this, what is this? So we have height, location. Location is literally the string P5 vector object. How did that get? The runner dinosaur? Or the runner dino? I think. So if I do this dot location, yeah, that's, I somehow, it got converted to a string. The constructor should only be happening once, right? I'm accessing it here. I'm no longer setting it. In the game, in setup, we're setting the player to a new player create vector, and we're giving it the sort of the location, which we know works the first time. Coding Garden, CJ, hey, Andrew Lane, hello. What's up, everyone? Hope you're all having a great weekend. Let's see, where was it getting reset? So you player.render, that's the first thing that happens. This shouldn't reset it. We have jump, that's just setting the velocity. Oh, look at this, okay. Update, this dot location plus equals this dot velocity. For some reason, that's setting it to this a string, probably a velocity. I bet there's a different way to do the add than that. Okay, so I can do create vector v.add. The vector's components are set to this. Okay, so I need to do this differently. So dot add this dot velocity like that. By the Carlos, you enjoy all my Rust streamings. They're epic. Oh, thank you so much, Carlos. I am so sorry that I don't have. I'm not able to do those Rust right now. Just do this computer. It's barely able to handle this right now. But I do have one on order. It is coming. It might take another like a month for it to get here, just because buying a computer this time is not very fast. I do have a bot. I don't think I have. Interesting. Okay, I figured it would have come back to say like, hey, I don't know what that command is. I wonder if it's not. It like crashed and isn't running. I'll have to like check. Because it was running last week, and I have it supervisor is like supposed to restart it whenever it crashes. So I wonder if it's something else happened. But I'm a little bit hesitant to like open up Postman to sort of like run some of the update commands on it, because that might take my computer down even further. I guess I am on 30 frames per second, so I might be able to. Yeah. All right, so if I do that, now I come here. Let's take off this debugger. Let's try this again. All right, so here we are. Everything is running. Am I getting no errors? Okay, so if I hit spacebar, all right, it just forever heads on up, which I think is fine for right now because I'm not resetting. So update, after we add the location to the velocity, I guess what I really want is an acceleration, sort of like jump up, you accelerate up, and then you sort of like slow, come back down again. So I need an acceleration. Hello, CJ. You and Brooks are amazing. I am following all what you're doing. I think it's so great. Oh, thank you, Carlos. It's awesome having well, we can't really do it without you all. So also like thank you for being amazing, for like coming out, being part of the community, like just surviving also during these COVID times. All right, so we want acceleration equals to a create vector. We'll initialize this to we're not doing the floats, don't need to do 0.0. All right, so we have an acceleration. When I jump, I want to set the acceleration to be -10. When I update, I want to now update the velocity. So this dot velocity dot add this dot acceleration. So I add those two together. Then I'm going to add the location with the velocity, and then I need to reset the acceleration. So this dot acceleration, I bet there's a mult, and I want to multiply that by 0 to reset it. So now if I do this, I'm thinking that it should be a little bit smoother. I can go ahead and close you. I mean, it's pretty fast. I need to now have gravity to sort of like slowly take that down. And do I want any kind of... Well, I'm also setting this to be -10. I am definitely going to want to have this like maybe adding to a force. So let's have an apply force. This is going to take in a force, and we're going to say this dot acceleration dot add the force. So jump, we're going to create the vector for a jump. So this dot, and we probably don't need this here because it's going to be something that just is used over and over again, hopefully. So this dot, we'll call this like jump force equals create vector. We don't jump sideways, we only jump up, and so we'll say like maybe -10 or so. Then in jump, we're going to say this dot apply force, this dot jump force. Nothing should change. It should still be pretty similar to what we had before. Although I believe it's going to become more linear or more exponential when I hit. It moves up a little bit faster as we go up. That's fine. Now we need to add in gravity. And so gravity is, we already have an apply force. Gravity is more of like a global thing that affects lots of stuff. So we're going to add in a let gravity equals. This will also allow me to have something where like if we need to change gravity in the future, we can. All right, so this is going to be a create vector. Again, no x, and we'll just set this to maybe be like the exact opposite of our jump right now, 10. Purely arbitrary, whatever we think this should be. And so this is a gravity force. So now I want to player dot apply force, and this is going to be gravity. So it's going to be constantly applying the force. Now, there is a minor problem they can run into really quickly here. It just sort of fell off the screen because if I set my player to, let's say, 25 down, then we'll see where the player, there, and it's straight on down. Not a huge problem. Also, it might be too, like that looked too fast. Let's just do 1. I can actually jump. The jump might be a little bit too strong. That went way high up. I pressed the spacebar like 3 times. So that means I need some kind of collision detection. So when it hits the ground or is underneath, it resets to the ground level. So let's add that now. So we'll do hit ground maybe is like a let's see, hit ground. I don't know if we need to take anything in. So basically we need to know where I guess we do need to know where the ground is. Okay, so yeah, so we need to know where the ground is y-wise, but we don't really need anything else. So if we do ground location, then we can check, okay, so if we're hitting ground, so if our location, so this dot location, we only really need to check about y. Y is going to be the top left of the rectangle for us, and then we need the bottom of that. So plus this dot height, so that's the bottom of us. If that is greater than our ground location, then we need now to reset ourselves to be on the ground. So this dot location dot y, we need to now set this equal to be this dot I guess ground location minus and then our height. Okay, so let's then call this, so player not play, player dot hit ground, and we happen to know that our ground is at 5. So I'll just leave this as a magic number right now. We may need to like change this around later. All right, so here's our player. Oh wait, it's not 5, it's height minus 5. Yeah, we need it to be down here, not way up there. All right, so we start up there, we fall all the way down, and now we're just sort of sitting here. If I hit space, nothing happens. And I wonder if it's because our velocity is just continuously being like increasing like by a huge amount and never really like getting capped. And I wonder if maybe our down velocity needs to be reset every single time that we reset this too. Let's try doing that. I'm gonna have a do I want a reset velocity there, or can I, if I hit ground, I also want to this dot velocity dot y. Let's set this equal to 0. So we reset that as well. Now if I hit spacebar, all right, I'm able to jump. That's a bit high of a jump. Also, if I like hold the mouse down, really high jump. So we want to be able to like only jump once whenever we're jumping. So maybe we need to store some kind of state, like are we jumping? So this dot is jumping, and we'll set this to be false. So when we call jump, we only want to do the apply force if we're not jumping. So maybe we'll call this not jumping. I don't know. I don't like that. I think I like the is jumping. But then here we can do a query. Okay, so if this dot is jumping, I'm actually going to use check this as false directly. I don't know, like I like doing that. Clippy yells at me every time I try to do this in Rust, and it says that it wants me to do the not here. I don't know how much like more readable that is, but okay. So if we're not jumping, then go ahead and apply the force. But if we start jumping here, we also need to set this dot is jumping equals to true. Cow, how did I get that? True. And then if we hit the ground, we need to set this dot is jumping equals to false. So reverse that. Now if I hit this, even if I hold the spacebar down, I only jump as soon as it's hitting the ground, and that's fine. And this is how much I jump by. And that's not too bad. Okay, I think this works for us. Now we need some kind of well, before I get ahead of myself, let me save my progress so I don't accidentally destroy it. Can jump. All right, next up, we need some kind of obstacle. Let's go with a good old square or rectangle, something like probably a square. It can like represent little trees that you have in like the Chrome game. So we need an obstacle class. Obstacle.js. Oh, and before I forget, I do need to come into here and bring that in. How about an upside down triangle? Ooh, we can totally do that. That might be cool. We could do upside down triangle. Okay, yeah, so the point is down. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So class obstacle. And then, so we need a constructor. We need constructor. We don't necessarily, well, we know we need some kind of render method. And the render method, we're going to have our triangle that's upside down. And then we also want it to move to the left. So we know we're going to have location. So this dot location. We probably want to initialize this way off the side of the screen, but for now, let's maybe have it down near the bottom here. Should our obstacle, when it's created, maybe it doesn't, maybe we pass in the location. So it's going to be set to the location, which is going to be a vector 2. Okay, so then it's probably, the obstacle is probably going to be the one that's moving. So let's handle that different, like later. Let's just, for right now, we're gonna have a location and then we'll draw it to the screen. No need for like, it's not like GGEZ where we need some kind of mesh to display. We're just gonna go straight into the render location. Okay, so if we want this to be an upside down triangle, so let's we'll do fill. We'll make this just black for right now, like just like everything else. And we need to figure out where our shape. Triangle. Okay, so there's an actual triangle shape. It's a plane created by connecting 3 points together. So syntax x1, y1. Oh, okay. So just like the first point, the second point, the third point. That's it. Okay, that's not very that's not too hard. So we're gonna do a triangle. So if we want it to be an upside down triangle, that means we're gonna have x1 be sort of up and to the left. That's what we're going to calculate as, up and to the left. So we can just have this be the location. So the location is at that top left point. That's probably going to be easiest for collision detection too. So we'll do this dot location dot x, this dot location dot y. All right, so now this is going to be the width. So we do need a width for this. Let's make this 15. So this is going to be this dot location dot x plus this dot width. And then the y is going to be straight up this dot location dot y again. Now, the third point is going to be halfway between and then all the way then down. So we need a height too. This dot height. We can make this 15 to make it exact equilateral triangle. So with this, third point is going to be this dot location dot x plus then half of the width. So this dot width divided by 2. And then the y is going to be the same thing. This dot location dot y plus this dot height. Actually, the full height. That's a little bit much to look at. Let's break this out. All right, okay, so that gives us our triangle here. Put you on that line, so that way we can see exactly where it's where everything that's happening here. And then we need to construct the like make it and then render it. So let obstacle all right, so we're going to have an new obstacle. We need the location for it, so let's just go ahead and create a vector. We can start with the same place, like the same thing that we have. Let's make it like further over to the right. So something like we have 770, we can do like 700. And then the y, we can do, we know it's like 700 down. What if we do something like our height is 15? So if we say 685, that should put it right above, then -5, so 680. And then we'll render obstacle.render. I think it'll display now. There we go. We have an upside down triangle as our obstacle. Next up is to make this obstacle move to the left. So I don't think we're going to need anything crazy like an acceleration like we need for the jump here. We just want it to be moving at a constant velocity to the left, and that velocity can maybe speed up just ever so slowly over time. So we do need a velocity. Our velocity equals create vector and if we just say, okay, we're going to be negative, our gravity is 1 right now. I don't know if we need that. What if I do something like 0.1? So very slow to the left, and then 0. It's not moving up or down. And then we're going to have an update function. And this is just going to say this dot location dot add this dot velocity. And if I do that, our obstacle should now move to the left towards us. Oh wait, we need to call update. That would be very helpful. Obstacle.update. So 1.1 is a little bit slow. It is moving. But we can, our player can go take a nap. Doesn't need to worry about this obstacle in any way whatsoever. So let's maybe make that something a little bit faster. So an obstacle, let's actually just try -1. Okay, so it's moving at a decent clip for us. I'm actually not sure it's moving fast enough for us to properly jump over for this jump height. Because I don't think we stay up in the air long enough. Yeah, no, we get halfway through it. So we need to go a little bit, let's try -5. Okay, this isn't too bad. It's moving forward. It's not too fast. We should be able to see it and dodge out of the way. We don't die when we hit it, and it just keeps on going to the left. So we probably want to well, I guess there's a couple things we can do here. I could recycle the obstacle. So as soon as it goes off screen to the left, it appears onto the screen to the right. And then the speed increases by just a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. Or I could create obstacles sort of randomly. But I sort of feel like giving ourselves a screen might be a good idea. So let's try it. CJ, I love how you're animating the game in emoji in chat. That's hilarious. So we're moving by -5. As soon as we hit to the left, so we want something like reset. Well, we're gonna have a reset, and then we also need to check to see if it's off screen. So if we're off the screen to the left, so this dot location dot x, Now we want the right-hand side of it to be off the screen. So it's going to be plus our this dot width. Okay, so if the location of x plus the width, if that is less than 0, then we're off the screen to the left. Then, in that case, let's go ahead and reset our location to be just off the screen to the right. So this dot location dot the y can stay the same. It's the x that needs to change. So x equals, and this is going to be, it can be like we can do like the global width. So the width plus, we can just do like 5. Because it's to the left, it won't really matter that much, but let's put it off just a little bit more. That way we won't like see it enter in. Let's also increase the speed by just a tiny amount. So this dot, we can even create a function for this. Increase speed. And then we can have a amount to increase by. So increase speed by equals, let's try 0.1. We already noticed that that was pretty slow. So every time we reset the page, we'll increase by that speed. And so this way we'll do this dot velocity dot x. So this is going to be minus equals this dot increase speed by. Okay, and then we'll now this dot increase speed. Call the function. Let's try it out. Now we don't have any ways to like stop collisions. So if I let it hit me, it just moves through. Oh, you know what? I forgot again to call it. We need to call the reset function. So now when it goes off the screen to the left, it should move over to the right, increases its speed ever so subtly, and then continues on. Plus, oh, so yeah, it doesn't need to be plus because x is 0 over on this left side and is 770 over on this right-hand side. So it's minus because we want it to have the illusion of us running, but instead of having the player move to the right and having some like camera system, I'm just making the obstacles move to the left, which gives us an illusion of moving. It actually isn't like increasing its speed by too much. Like it doesn't feel like it's increasing the speed too much. Now having just one of these obstacles doesn't seem too terribly like hard for us. I wonder if we should have another one that's half a screen further, and then it can move out. Can you call obstacle.reset in the obstacle.update method? I actually can. So I was thinking about that, having like a run method, so you don't have to call it into the game. Yeah. So if I do that, run this and then this dot reset. So I can do that. That will clean this up a little bit. I mean, I can even have a run and just like obstacle to run, which runs update and render. But I don't know if we could move these to be closer to the other players. We can have like a run to like deal with the rest of the stuff. Okay, I see it getting like a little bit faster now. But I don't think that's too big of a deal as it is. All right, so let's add another obstacle, but have it be a little bit further along. And then we'll have this obstacle, we'll start, so it's 700 down across. Let's make this something like 800 to the right And then we can do another one. So we can have obstacle and let obstacle 2 equals new obstacle. We're going to create another vector. And so this is going to be, we want 800. So like 800 plus 400, 1200 by 680. And then we're going to do the exact same thing here. So obstacle 2 dot render that obstacle 2 dot update. So if I do this, now it's going to appear like we have double the number of obstacles. And they're coming at pretty much an even cadence for us. Now I could do this as like random obstacles, like obstacles are randomly appearing. Andrew, yes, I could put them into an array too. And then I can loop through them and run them that way as well. So that way I don't have like obstacle 2. That way I can have like any number of obstacles be created for us. They have their own speed increase, but I don't think that's a problem because it shouldn't be a problem. However, I am noticing that they're getting a little tiny bit closer together. And I think the reason why is because when the first one comes over to the left hand side of the screen, it increases its speed, shows up to the right, and then starts moving. The next one's still moving at its older speed. So it's not, it kind of looks like one obstacle is catching up to the other obstacles, which is a little bit like kind of fun. So I think we're going to have some kind of global running speed that we move the obstacles by. So let's create that. So we'll have run speed equals create vector. And so this is where we're going to say something like -5, 0. Now we need to pass a reference to the run speed in for each obstacle, or we can pass that in to the update function here. So if we pass it into the update function, this is actually our velocity. How big is my screen? It is pretty big. It's a it is a 4K display, but I am sort of scrunching it down with OBS to be 1920 by what am I setting as? Output, not output, video. 1920 by 1080 is how much is what I'm displaying it out as, but it's a 4K 30-inch, 27-inch. Okay, so if I have like a velocity coming here, now I'm going to add this velocity. We're no longer going to record our internal velocity, and we're no longer going to have an increased speed here. We're now going to handle that out in like the main game. My dock is tiny. Yeah, I guess like I could see it. I have to like increase the font size by like this stuff a lot for the stream. It's not super tiny for me. But like if I let it just sort of sit here with double like 0 what is it, like the 0 increase? I forget what it does, like for like the 4K stuff to make it like bigger for me, then I can't read any text on it whatsoever. All right, so now we're gonna have these obstacles, and in update we're gonna pass it the run speed. And then at the end, we don't want to do this every single draw cycle, because that would be potentially a little bit crazy, unless of course I did just a tiniest amount. Because if I just say, okay, we want run speed dot x minus equals like 0.01, this still might be way too fast that it increases its speed by. If I do this, will it still work? Yes. They're now going to get, their speed is going to increase together. So they're always going to be this far apart. And it is increasing speed. It's not too terribly bad. So I think this is fine for like our game. It's certainly not going to be balanced for super long play. Let's now figure out, maybe do like the array of obstacles. So instead of obstacle 1 and obstacle, we can do obstacles. Dinosaur. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm going for. So we'll initialize this as an empty array. Now here we're going to say obstacles dot push. Put in one of you and you, and okay, so that gives us 2 of those. Now down here, we want to loop through the obstacles and run those 2 functions. So obstacles dot for each. Then we'll just do obstacle, and we'll pull in the render, and we'll pull in the update, and now you 2 can go away. Now we still get both running, and they should still like function the exact same way, but now we just have less code in our draw, so it's a little bit easier. Okay, so that gives us the jump ability, that gives us the moving to the right. We should also put in the ability to like have the game get, become over. So if we need to like detect if we're colliding. So we need a function. Now who gets to be in charge of that? Like, is it the player that needs to know if like, it's running into an obstacle? Is the obstacle aware that it runs into a player? I'm thinking maybe like the player. So we can have a is hitting, and then we can pass in an obstacle. Okay, so is the player hitting an obstacle? Okay, so if, and in fact, I probably don't need to do an if. It's this is also going to be a pretty simple bounding box, because even though it's a triangle, the triangle moves off to the left. I can really just do the AABB, and I think MDN actually has a really good article on this. AABB bounding box collision. Clash of Code shortest mode go. 2D collision detection. I haven't played any of those Clash of Codes in a long time. I did a while back, but I've been seeing that CJ, you've been doing the Clash of Codes recently. They look a lot of fun. Okay, so it is given a rect with a location and a width and a height. This is the algorithm we're going to do. All right, so with this, we're just going to return. So rect1, that's ourselves. So this dot location dot x is less than the other rectangles. So obstacle dot x plus so the second one's width. So obstacle dot width and now the first one plus its width. So this dot location dot x plus this dot width is greater than obstacle dot x and. All right, so now this is going to be the y's turn. So this dot location dot y is less than obstacle dot location dot y plus obstacle dot height and this dot location dot y plus this dot height is greater than obstacle dot y. And I didn't even put a return because I'm so used to Rust with the auto return. So return that. You found out from CJ? Yeah, awesome. TypeScript would make this so much better. Yes, I do not disagree. TypeScript does make a lot of things better. CJ, just say no to TypeScript. I think also like CJ and I had the opposite paths into programming because CJ, you started with C#, right? You started with C# in a very strongly typed language. I started with Bash and doing a lot of shell scripting as a systems administrator. That's like the complete opposite of C# in almost every single way possible. And then I moved on to Python, and I guess from there went on to JavaScript. You know, I've taken some like courses in C and did some other stuff here and there, but like for the most part, it's been non-strongly typed languages. And then like with Rust, it's like, oh man, creating my own types has been really nice. That being said, I don't usually do object-oriented programming code like this anymore. Like with JavaScript, it's a lot more functional style that I do. And with Rust, it's, that's more functional as well. You started with JS. C hashtag is how it's pronounced now. Yes, I am using a CDN for P5JS. I'm using a CDN that I found on their website. Okay, so this is hitting. So now we can go into the game, and we're gonna want to let game running it. It's how the cool kids say it. C hashtag. Sure, I guess so. So we're gonna say game running equals true. Now, clear fill. So we get basically the entire draw thing is going to be predicated upon the game running. So if the game is running, then we do all this. Otherwise, we just stop. Like just everything stops. So actually, I probably don't even have to do. I'll probably have some kind of like thing displayed on it later. So I'll just leave that blank. And then we need to check to see if we should run game. So is the player for each obstacle, we now need to check to see if player dot is hitting, and then pass it the obstacle. If that's true, let's just set game running to be false. And that's it. That'll just immediately stop everything from happening. So let's check to see if we got this working. Why don't I use no loop? Oh no, it didn't do the collision. I am doing the hitting, right? So is hitting, passing an obstacle. It is hitting, so it's the player. Oh, like to write in. Wait, so like what? No loop. Is that a P5 thing, or I don't think I've used no loop before. But also our collision detection isn't working. Oh, that's cool. Oh, so no loop would just stop it, wouldn't it? That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'm so used to like other methods of like, hey, I don't need to look to see if there's a P5 method of doing this. Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. It would stop, although I don't want to stop the draw loop, because I will want like ability to like start it up again and reset. And I'll need to be able to like, if it's not looping anymore, I don't think I'll be able to like check to see if the key is down or draw anything else to the screen. But regardless, we're not, our collision detection isn't working. So that's a problem. We need to fix that. Although I notice I'm not saved. So maybe that's the problem. Nope, that was not the problem. Okay, so first of all, is there any errors? No errors whatsoever. Okay, so game running equals false if game running. So if this was happening, it would stop this from, it would stop all this in the loop. So I believe that we need to check this. I believe that this is not, let's see, not obstacle, player is hitting. This is not like returning what we think is returning. Console log game running. Yeah, we could console log game running, and just seeing like the true. So I'll do it the bottom of. Maybe I'll do it in here just to see. Game running. So I don't think we're gonna see it console log at all. Yep, not console log there. So if I move it out just to everything else, it's gonna be true forever. It's just true, and then we see how often it's updating here. Not super surprising. I have been streaming for hour 40 minutes. I think it's time for me to like put on my jacket too. This is usually when I start getting cold. Maybe do a stretch. I turned off my break timer because again, I'm hoping that I'm trying to save all the frames for the stream, and that combined with everything else is just potentially causing the computer to not do too well. I think I'm going to go down and grab another little bit of water so I can continue drinking. But I will be right back in just a minute or so. So you can watch my player fail to die. See you in a second. am back. Chantilly, can you see the collision detection code? Absolutely. Go ahead and save you. Here is the collision detection code. So we have this location.x. So that's the top left of the player. So right here, if that is less than object, so if that's less than the right-hand side of the triangle. Shamelessly stolen from MDN, which didn't work for me. So yeah, there is that. Then we have this location dot. Okay, so if the left-hand side is to the left, if the left of the player is to the left of the right of the obstacle, and if the right of the player is to the right of the left-hand side of the obstacle, yeah, so I guess like is that my problem? I almost we had some drawing stuff on before. Let's see. Is there anybody's favorite like drawing? Let's see, like web draw. What was the old Microsoft? Was it just Microsoft Draw? Oh, Paint. It was like a paint on a web. JS Paint. There's tons of these. Here it is. MS Paint Online. Okay, there we go. This is like perfect. Designer.gravit.io. Well, I don't necessarily want to go to that because I don't have a VPN active right now. But I think this will work for us because you could see this just fine, right? Yeah, I believe so. And I have the ability to draw actually now. All right, so if we have here our player. Wait, oh, you're not compatible with this? Well, fine. Never mind, I can't use my Wacom tablet. So we have our player, the beautiful, beautiful player. Actually, I can use these other. Okay, so we have our player here. And we have our obstacle. Draw.static.fun. Oh, that's another one. Well, but we have this. This is beautiful. This is like Microsoft. This is like classic Microsoft Paint. This is exactly what like it was made for too, right? So if we want to check to see if we're inside of something else. I love how this it's like made it go. Oh, I got like the oh, I see what happened. I went like it destroyed like the left of that. That's cool. So the right hand side, so what this is doing is this saying, okay, this dot location dot x, so that's right here. So this is x. This is x right here. If this location at x is less than obstacle.x plus obstacle.width. So this point right here. Okay, so if this point is to the left of this point, and this location dot x plus width. So then this point, if this point is greater than this point, oh, okay. I think I see what's going on here. We're checking to see if the entire object is within, because this object needs to be to the left of here, but at the same time, this side needs to be inside of here. So it needs to be fully inside. I think this collision detection is not what I want. Move the rectangle with the arrow keys. So if I do something like this, green, oh, so well, I mean, according to this, it is like that is a collision, and that's exactly what I'm going for. I just must have not put this in correctly. And I'm assuming also that they are having these boxes be like top left, but I still don't think that would matter that much. Okay, so did I not do this correct? So if rect1 is our, well, okay, let's try this again. So if I do this twice, let's just go ahead and comment you out. And then I'm going to take rect1 and I'm going to say that this is this dot location. Oh, I didn't realize that Samwise Gardner worked here. That's cool. Okay, so and rect2 is obstacle. You added your bot temporarily? Oh, that's cool. How does your bot like tell? Is it checking like the Twitch servers for how long I've been streaming? Okay, so this location at x is less than obstacle dot location dot x plus obstacle. So then this needs to be obstacle dot width, and this location dot y x plus this location dot width. So that's just this dot width is greater than obstacle dot location dot x, and this location dot y is less than obstacle dot location dot y plus obstacle dot height, and this location dot y plus this dot height is greater than obstacle dot location dot y. All right, let's try this. Yes, calls the Twitch API. Awesome. And you customize the uptime command for me. Oh, thank you. Okay, so if I do this, will work. And I am running this correctly, right? Where I have is hitting. If player is hitting, pass it an instance of the obstacle. If it returns true, then I set the game running to be false. Okay, what did I do wrong? I tried to like not copy and paste it the first time, but just go, go by what I had. So this location dot x is less than obstacle. That's what it was. I did obstacle dot x, not obstacle dot location dot x. As Andrew was saying, having TypeScript would have saved me on this one, because instead of just saying, oh, whatever, undefined is something less than undefined is actually a Boolean, and that's cool. I think CJ's response, I believe, is just gonna say, well, just get good. JavaScript is the Dark Souls of programming. So, all right. So I now have the ability to play this. So it ends the game when I do collision. That kind of feels a little bit unfair, doesn't it? I want it to hit like right on the edge. Now, if you're using modules, you can get type completion without TypeScript. I need to learn how to use like modules with this. Yeah, because like, although like I so rarely do like HTML, JavaScript programming in this sort of way. So I don't know if it's worth spending the time on. All right, so I need to add in. I know I could have used a bundler, but I just wanted to get started and didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. Parcel is simple. Oh, I keep on forgetting about parcel. Let's see. Okay, so I want to have this. So this location x is less than plus obstacle width. What is causing it? Like, I want there to be a little bit more leeway. And so do I want to update this one? So like if I say something like less than 5, -5 there, maybe -5 there, will that make it like a little bit more leeway? Maybe a little bit too much leeway. Okay, so I think it's this one here. So if this is a location at x plus this dot width, right? Okay, so the right-hand side. So I want maybe not to be quite to check like super the width on it, minus like 3 for checking the right-hand side, and then this one is probably going to be the other side, checking the right-hand side when landing, which I don't think is necessarily going to be a problem for us. Maybe 3 is too much still. If I do like 1. Oh, so it's like, okay. 3 was too much. 1 was like almost nothing. Two is too much. It's a little bit weird how that's sort of working out number wise. 1.5 it is. All right, whatever it is, we're just sticking with that. Nope, press save on the wrong window. Oh no, every time I click save, it like freezes my computer for a second. All right, so I think whatever it is, we're gonna be fine. All right, so let's see if we can play it. We still need like a scoring system as well. All right, so it is playable. Now if I can, yeah, okay, so The top down also works kind of, sort of. This would probably make some players be a little bit salty to be hit exactly like that. I don't think these things are working, so I'm just going to remove it. I'll have to play with the math later and like figure out exactly what I want it to be. But until then, we need a point system. So in game, let score. Should the player hold the score? I don't know. I think it's fine to have this be a global. There's only one player. So if I initialize a score here and we say score is equal to 0, and then I want to every time we successfully jump over an obstacle, you vote the player. Oh, like store the score in the player, and then I can just ask. Yeah, we can do that. I don't really have any strong opinions one way or the other of where to put this. Okay, so if we in the player, so we initialize the player, we're going to have this dot score equals 0. Now we're going to have an increment score. This dot score plus equals to 1. That's all we pretty much need there. Right, because then we do player reset, this dot score equals 0. Yeah, that's absolutely true too. All right, so then in the game, I need to determine, how do I know if I can like increment the score? As soon as an obstacle disappears and it gets reset, we can increment the score. So we actually want obstacle.update. We probably want to pass in to the player. Okay, so we'll pass in the player to the obstacle here. And it will have updates. So we'll get the player. So when we reset, so we'll pass in the player here. Okay, so if we reset this, we now want to have the player dot increment score. All right. Now I need a way to visualize that and like display this. So that's probably just like somewhere up here in the top left. We can draw reset player. Well, but I'm not using TypeScript, so I can't do that. Now let's have our display the score to, so we need to create a new font, I believe. At least in some other game engines, you need to like create the font to set like the size and what you want to be at. DOM events typography. Oh, there's a text size. Okay. So if I do something like text size. Okay, so set the text size, the text, so the location, then what text to be. All right, well that seems pretty simple. So in here I can do, actually we want this to be all the time. So we will maybe put this at the very end here. So do text size. Let's do like 25. Then we're going to do text. So the text is going to be score and score. Then the location, let's just do 10 down, 10 to the right, 10 down. And that should give us the score. That should auto update for... How did that break? What did I do wrong? Score is not defined. Oh, right, it's player.score. I forgot that it's in the player. Where is this? This is player.score. That is maybe a little bit too big. So let's do like 18, and maybe we need to be a little bit farther down. So 5 to the right, I think is fine, and maybe like 20 down. There we go. Okay, so we have score, and now as they go off the screen, my score increases. So perfect. And of course, if I lose, everything stops and the score stops increasing as well. You added a command, CJ. Jump. You avoided the obstacle. Current score 1. At 1. Oh no, you hit the obstacle. Game over. Total score undefined. Wait, is it like random? I feel that this is going to be a little bit hard to like play if it's just a random chance. You avoid the obstacle. Current score 1. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Thanks, CJ. That's a really cool bot you added in there. All right, so we have that. When it's game over, we should probably have like a big game over that like displays here. So that's where this else is going to be. So we're going to say text size. We're going to make this gigantic. So like, I don't know, 30. And our text is going to be let's see, you fail, you game over, just game over. Okay, position. Is there an easy way to get it into the center of the screen? There's text align. Text leading, text size. I wonder if I like set it for like the entire width and height. Oh, calculates in terms of width of any character or text string. Oh, okay. So I can... Okay, I can set what that is. So we're going to have text size 28. They're going to have const, sort of like the game over text, equals game over. Then we want to get the size of that. So const game over text size equals, this is going to be text width of game over text. So that gives me the width. I'm certain that there's a height to this too. I wonder if I even need to like capture this into a variable. I might just be able to say, okay, I want text of game over text its X position, I want that to be the game over text width. So the middle, I want the middle of the arena. This is maybe going to be a little bit interesting. So I want to say, okay, the middle of the arena. So that's going to be width divided by 2. And then I want to subtract from that. So let's parenthesize these to make sure they happen first. So middle of the arena minus the middle game over text size. So this is essentially text width of game over text. Game over text, and then this is also divided by 2. That's our X position. So we don't need U. Now our Y position is going to be the same exact thing, but the height. So this is going to be height divided by 2 minus, this is going to be text. Oh, is there no height? Is there no text height? Is text height just this? Is that the height? Yeah, probably. Is there a font size? I don't see a font size here. So probably, Doc D, text ascent divided by text. Let's see. Returns the ascent of the current font as its current size. The ascent represents the distance in pixels of the tallest character above the baseline. Yeah, their example is a little bit odd here. So wait, is that, so this is the middle. So they have a line that's straight through the middle. And then I can do the line at the top. Not with me, Captain Sub. I didn't do a Telegram bot tutorial. So it might have been somebody else. It's font weirdness relative to the baseline. Oh, okay. So text ascent. So you were suggesting, if I go back, text ascent divided by text descent. So text descent is the bottom, like the lowest most point, and text ascent is the highest most point. So text ascent. So text ascent of game over text. Does it, let me try without the divided by. I mean, yes, I could also just, you know what? That might be easier. I might just be able to say, you know what? How about I just like pretend that it's like 15. Just we'll eyeball it. All right, so that's game over text, the width and the height. I think that's all we need for this. So if I hit save, we hit refresh. That's close enough to the center. That's fine. All right, and then we want game over. We probably want some kind of like restart mechanism. So try it again. Oh, you watched a video made by Tim Ermilov. Oh, cool. I don't know Tim. I'm gonna have to go look at that. All right, so I want to now like put like a message of like, okay, time to like restart, like press spacebar to restart. So we'll do text size, maybe like half the size of this. And then we'll do, okay, text. We're gonna need to do the same exact thing here. So this is gonna be const restart game text equals press space to restart. And then we'll do text. So restart game text. All right, so the exact same thing that we have here. In fact, we can just copy paste these two into here. So we have starting from the middle minus, and then this is just going to be the restart game text. And you are going to be like 7.5. Oh, you know what? It's going to be right over it because I forgot I need to go down a little bit further. In fact, I could probably just go straight into the middle and plus maybe something like 10 to go down a bit. ADT, hello. Welcome to the stream. All right, so press space to restart. Of course, if I press space, nothing happens because we need to implement that code. Let's go ahead and save this on up to GitHub. That way I don't lose anything. We can lose. All right, so resetting. What does that mean? I need to have a player.reset. Do I have a reset? No. So I have a reset function here. What does that mean for us? It means our location is going to stay the same, but we need to reset our score to 0. So this dot score equals 0. And then the obstacles, we want to reset them because otherwise it's going to suck. We're just going to immediately lose again because they need to go off to the side. So now we have this reset player. And I don't know, like this probably isn't the right, I want to rename this to be something a little bit better. Make sure the player goes to the bottom. I mean, well, I guess if they die while they're in the middle of jumping, yeah. So we need to set their location up again. So whatever this, so we should probably save their. Well, we don't want to save their initial location. And unfortunately, we our hit ground here is not set up. We could store off the initial location and just restart the entire game that way. So we could do this dot initial location equals location. Now, we have a problem here. That location is just a reference to a point in memory. So I'm going to have to clone or copy it. So I need to find out if it's clone or copy. It might be get. I think that's under math, P5 vector. Get to copy the vector. Okay, so copy works. So we want you to be copy. So then we can now set this dot score equals 0, this dot location equals this dot initial location. So just reset that, and of course, let's copy it. So that way we're not the second time we lose, that doesn't fail. Sort of dodging cars. Upside down triangles are totally like cars, right? All right, so reset. This is location. This is initial location to copy. what else do we need to reset here? Our velocity is fine. Our acceleration is fine. I guess we can take our velocity and our acceleration. I don't think we'll really notice anything. Oh, I can multiply it to reset those. So velocity and acceleration can be multiplied. So this dot velocity dot mult 0, and then this is going to be acceleration. Set everything in reset and call it from the constructor. That's actually a really good idea too. Because then I don't have to do this twice. So if I do something like this dot reset, now what do I need to do that? Initial location. Let's have this up here, so that way we can like copy this and like it'll be accessible to us inside of reset. Width and height, those are fine. Location, this is being set inside of reset. Velocity and acceleration are being set inside of there too. Jump force, so this is fine to be right here. We're not like changing that. Is jumping is false. Is jumping is, I mean, technically it's true, isn't it? And we can put this down here. And this dot score, we also take that and put this down here. This dot, actually we already have that. Code Purple, hello. Oh, Code Purple, you raided me. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everyone. We're making a infinite runner sort of game for us to sort of like play around in future streams, learn some game design principles or design patterns. And I'll be using this. Code Purple has an awesome stream. I wasn't able to watch it today. How was your stream, Code Purple? Excel, yeah, probably. Is that? Yep, well, I mean, as long as I'm consistent, then it doesn't matter if I know how to spell or not, right? Acceleration. I remember a long time ago, maybe a year and a half ago, Brooks and CJ built a game on stream with P5. Oh yes, that was a long time ago. We made Breakout, I think. It was good. You're still working on your Battleship game. Almost ready for a beta. Awesome. That I'm looking forward to that. Almost 2 years ago? Oh man. That was, I mean, that we were still working together at the time. Is that true? Were we still working? I don't remember if that was 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Yeah, quarantine time. All right, so I have reset here. Now, every time we hit the obstacle, we reset this dot reset. Oh, reset player, right? Okay, so we're calling this is reset for the game. The game here, we need to check to see if we're hitting the space key. So here, if we're in game over mode, we need to check to see if key is down, key code space, If it is down, then we want to this dot, what is it? Is playing? Game running. Game running. Set this to be true, and then also have the player dot reset. We are definitely living in strange times, but before we do that, we also need to reset the obstacles. So I want them to like go back into their initial positions. So we're gonna need the same thing here. So what if I just do like an initialize function? And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna call this dot initialize. All right, so if I pass in, we'll probably want initial, the initial location. So this dot initial location equals location dot copy, and then that way this dot location comes here. Width and height don't change. This dot increase speed by, that's also fine. But our speed does need to be reset. Where is our... No, we don't need to... That's a game speed. The game speed needs to be reset out in game. Okay, so that's in here. Because we have this entire game speed. This needs to be reset. So player reset. We need to loop through all the obstacles. So obstacles dot for each obstacle. We want to just say, okay, obstacle. For every single obstacle, run the initialize function. And Code Purple gifting 3 tier 1 subs. Awesome. Thank you so much for Code Purple for that. Let's see. You gifted Andrew Lane X. Welcome, welcome as a new subscriber. Coding Garden CJ and Jollymon Sam. Your first month for all of you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you Code Purple for gifting the subs. That's the first gift subs that I've had on the channel. So it's super awesome to have you all here, and super awesome to do that. Where was I? That derailed my brain with how much awesome that was. Let's see. We reset the obstacles. We need to reset the game speed. Right. So we want to do game speed. Game speed. I mean, I could just reset this, or I can have like maybe a function here. Function set initialize game speed. And we're just going to say, okay, game. We're going to be evil here and do globals because, I mean, why not? Game speed is like game speed. Oh, run speed. Run speed equals create vector -5 0. Code Purple. Well, thank you for coming. Awesome to have you here. Glad that you had a great stream, and I hope that you have a great week too. All right, so then here, instead of initializing run speed like that, we will initialize game speed. All right, so we have that. And now I think everything will reset. Then we need to initialize game speed here. as well. I may have forgotten something. But the code isn't like super. Oh, that's not happy. What's my error? This dot velocity is undefined in the player, line 54. This dot velocity dot molt 0. I guess, wait, do I not have this dot velocity anymore in here? No, so I need to reset it. I thought I had to reset it. This dot velocity equals create vector 0, 0. And then we'll have to do acceleration as well. We don't need this molt 0 anymore. We don't need this molt 0 here too if we're just setting it. All right. This location not add is not a function. So what is location? So this dot initial location dot copy. So initial location equals location dot copy off of here, which should be a location, like a vector. So if you're not a location, that means you're no longer a vector. So obstacle.js line 23. Oh, this location. So it's not the player's location. It's this location is no longer set up right. Okay, so when we reset, this location equals, I think it was like initial location. Initial location. This dot initial location dot copy. All right, so let's play a few times, get a score, and then we'll lose. Press space to restart. Well, a 0 got rendered here, but the game didn't restart. So what happened? I know, it's like, oh man, okay, that didn't work exactly the way I wanted to. So game running equals true. If game running, okay, so that is setting that. So if game is running, player.reset, obstacles, initialize the obstacles, initialize the game speed. Like one would think that that would work, but I'm guessing. So let me get score 1 again so we can see that. So we lose, we have score 1, and if I hit space, the 0 appears. Oh, good question. No, no problem. We have space pressed as a console log. Where did I leave that? Or is, oh, space pressed. So we don't need you anymore. No errors. So it's just the fun JavaScript sort of like, we're being nice to you errors. All right, so if key is down, so we know this worked because game running switched to true, which got our player reset. But the location of the player didn't reset. You know what? This isn't this dot game running again. It's supposed to be game running. You've been trying to get better at testing in JS, but you're quickly learning it's another topic that's highly opinionated and offers lots of tooling terminology to get one, and it gets you a little bit overwhelmed. You know, I agree with that. I do a lot of testing myself at my own job. All right, so then if there you go. Okay, so I had accidentally called this dot game running when I wasn't in an object. So that was the problem. All right, so Now we're able to reset the game as many times as we want. Our player falls down again. Everything sort of like resets for us. Coding Garden, thank you so much for the 300 bits. Cheer. Gotta go. Have a good one, Brooks. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go too. It's getting around to be 5 o'clock here, which is, it's been like 2.5 hours since I streamed, but we got a game sort of working. We got like a score. There's a way to lose the game. I don't have a way to win. It gets progressively harder. I think this is gonna be enough for me to start on the game design sort of design patterns book that is going to be coming up in future streams. So before I go off, I'm going to end up like putting this on GitHub and get the link out to you all in case you want to take a look at it. So we can lose. Yes, like the most important part of a game, making your players be able to lose. That's number one of game design, right? So new repository under Brooks Builds. I can just move this over here. There's no reason to keep it secret. What am I calling this? This is learning game design patterns. All right, so make it public, please. Just create the repository. Can you win? Nope. I mean, you could just, your winning is not losing. So you can win until you lose. Like that's, I mean, it's totally not lazy game design, right? All right, so then we want, let's see, I've already initialized get add remote, get remote add. Get remote add origin, that. Then we're gonna add these in. Let's see. We can restart the game after losing. And push this on up. It doesn't tell you your high score. No, it doesn't. And I guess like these are things that we can add in. So I'll create another file here. I'll create a readme.md. So let's see. This is going to be learning game design patterns. The point of this repository is to give myself a simple game that I can use to for learning, and then game design patterns and a link to the book, which I put in the other browser here. What's awesome about this book is that it's free. Now you can, of course, buy it. Oh, Andrew Lane, you got to the GitHub faster than me. Thank you so much. So game design patterns, game program. Let's see. Okay, this is an infinite runner made using OP in p5.js. Infinite has an E on it usually. Yes, thank you, Andrew. And then let's see, sort of like features to add in. And this is where I'm going to be able to say high score tracker. And that was you, Andrew, right? I want to make, oh yeah, Andrew, that was you. So that was at Andrew Lane X. All right. So I'm going to keep that there. And then I'm going to do new branches for each thing that I learn. So for example, a sort of preview of what the first thing is the design pattern command. I'm not like, I don't know too many design patterns myself. Like I know some very like basic ones, MVC, factory, but not like a lot of these I'm not familiar with. So I'm looking forward to this. And so like, for example, inputs, well, we have space for our jumping. And if it makes sense to add some complexity, like allowing our player to move like left and right while they're jumping, I might do that just to like help out the learning with this. And then that will be in a branch for each one of the lessons that we go through.